Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is episode number 38. In today's video, we are going to talk about 7 of the fastest spoken languages on Earth.
King Bob! La bibimbap, non les bananas. Papoute la bougie.
If you haven't already gotten your coffee or tea or juice or wine, whatever you like to drink, make sure you do that right now because we're going to get started with the video. All right, let's get started with the video. So today we are going to talk about 7 of the fastest languages in the world according to a research paper done by 3 linguistic scientists back in 2011. If you're not familiar with linguistic scientists, basically these are scientists who study things about language. Now, I know most of us, we probably feel like we know which languages in the world are the fastest. Some people might think maybe Arabic, or some people might think Spanish or Chinese. Some people think English is the fastest language in the world. Now, I must admit, as an educator myself with advanced degrees in linguistics, and again, linguistics just means the study of language, I too had my thought about which language was spoken the fastest, or which group of people speak the fastest around the world. And I must say, I was surprised that I was so wrong by the answer. And I think many of you might be surprised as well. Before we go any further, and before I give you the list of the 7 fastest spoken languages, I want to know what you think the fastest language is spoken in the comment section below. Before I give you the answers, I want you to tell me which language do you feel is the fastest spoken around the world. I'm sure many of you are wondering, how do we judge, or how does these scientists judge which language is spoken the fastest? How do they record the speed? Now, basically, when individuals studying linguistics, particularly talking about speed, what they're looking at is the amount of syllables spoken per second or per minute. Now, just in case some of you are thinking, hey Alex, what is a syllable? Let's take a look at a definition of what a syllable is. Now, basically, a syllable is a unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants, forming the whole or part of a word. Basically, what that means is a syllable is the same thing as a sound. Example, if I said the word dog, dog has one syllable or one sound. But if I said the word water, water has 2 sounds or 2 syllables. What about if I said the word afternoon? Afternoon has 3 sounds or 3 syllables. So what these scientists did was look at how many syllables are spoken per second or per minute to judge the speed of a language. All right, before we go any further, I must give you a small disclaimer. If you're not familiar with the word disclaimer, basically what that means, I must give you a little bit more information about the topic. There are over 195 countries on this planet. In those 195 countries, there are over 7,000 languages spoken. Over 7,000 languages spoken. Now, of course, these researchers did not go to all 195 countries, nor did they research all 7,000 plus languages. At the end of the video, I will tell you how they determined which languages they studied. Now, just for context, let's take a look at 12 of the most spoken languages in the world. Number 1 would be English at 1,132 million speakers. So English is the number 1 most spoken language in the world. Number 2, Mandarin Chinese at 1,172 million speakers. Number 3 would be Hindi, which is in the Southeast Asia or India region, which is about 615 million. Next will be Spanish. Number 5 will be French, Number 6 would be Arabic. Number 7, Bengal, which again is in the Southeast Asia area. Russian at 258 million. Number 9, Portuguese, which is Portugal, which is about 234 million. Indonesia, Urdu. Number 11 is Urdu, which is again in Southeast Asia, the Indian area. And number 12 will be Germany, about 132 million speakers. Now, these are 12 of the most spoken languages in the world. And surprisingly, out of the 7 fastest spoken languages, only a few are here in this list. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the 7th fastest language and work my way up to number 1. So the 7th fastest spoken language in the world is Mandarin Chinese, and they speak about 5.18 syllables per second. The number 6 fastest spoken language in the world is Germany, and they speak about 5.97 syllables per second. Number 5 will be followed by English, who speaks about 6.19 syllables per second. Number 4, Italian. Italians speak about 6.99 syllables per second. Number 3, French. French people speak about 7.18 syllables per second. And number 2, this is actually the language that I thought was number 1, Spanish. Spanish speaks about 7.82 syllables per second. That is really fast. Now remember, if I say afternoon, that's 3 syllables. In Spanish, they speak about 7.8 syllables per second. That is really, really fast. But the number 1 fastest spoken language, and surprisingly, I actually speak this language. I did not know that it was the fastest spoken language, is, drumroll, Japanese. Japanese is the number 1 fastest spoken language in the world, and they speak about 7.84 syllables per second. Now, the way that these countries were chosen was by the syllables and the motion in the mouth, and I will explain more. When you look at the way languages are spoken, you're looking at the movement on the tongue and the movement on the lips. Japanese is a language where the tongue does not touch the roof of the mouth or the bottom of the mouth. The tongue stays in the middle and goes rather quickly. Also in Japanese, the movement of the lips are not very pronounced. You don't see that very much. So when you speak Japanese, the tongue does not touch the top, nor does it really touch the bottom. It stays somewhere in the middle, and the lips does not move. I will give you an example of a Japanese word with a lot of syllables, or you might say with a lot of sounds. Tabetakunai. Tabetakunai. Now, I said that word really quickly, so maybe you cannot hear how many syllables or how many sounds. I will say it a little bit slower. Tabetakunai. 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 How many syllables do you hear that? Tabetakunai. Did you say 4, 5, maybe 6? Actually, the answer is 6. If you break that word down, you have tabetakunai. So you have 6 syllables in that word. Now, this is the reason that Japanese people can speak Japanese very quickly, because that tongue does not really touch the top, nor does it touch the bottom. It stays right in the middle, mostly, and the lips does not have to move. One more example. 今日は何も食べてない. 今日は何も食べてない. Now, what I said was, I didn't eat anything today. I said it really quickly, and as you notice, my lips did not move that much. This is why Japanese is number 1. And this is also how these researchers chose which languages to study. They looked at the movement of the tongue and also the movement of the lips. All right, how did you guys do? Did anybody out there choose Japanese? If you did get it right, hit me in the comment section below. I was really surprised myself. Again, I speak Japanese almost fluently, and I didn't even think that Japanese would be number one. All right, guys, the next time I see you, aloha.